Okay, holy crap, guys. So tell me why when the Injustice 2 DLC trailer drops, Darksiders 3 immediately, 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours after the release of the DLC for Injustice 2, Darksiders comes out and is like, hey, Darksiders 3 gameplay, boys and girls. I'm like, what the fuck? So, for some of you who didn't see my first video, or that you've been living under a rock, Darksiders 3 was announced. We got a cinematic trailer, and now we got a gameplay trailer. I'm going to break down a little bit of what I saw in it in the literal 10 to 12 minute, like 12 minutes of footage of video game. So, and this does kind of frustrate me because there are other games like Spider-Man who we saw cinematic footage, almost in-game footage. It's like not even like a demo or like a release of the gameplay, nothing. So that worries me. But this is awesome. So maybe I'll show you guys maybe a couple photos or screenshots or videos during this, just to give you a little bit of a feel and to understand 100% what I'm talking about in this video, in this breakdown. I usually don't do breakdowns. I usually just like to talk about like trailers or movies or games. So this is a little different for me, but because of that I'm so excited for the release of the game, I decided to break it down a little bit and you know, maybe even talk about like what I think they need to do a little bit better, maybe like help out the company by saying, hey, this is what the original was kind of like, maybe a little bit like that, because I do have a little bit of problems. I will admit I have some problems with the first gameplay reveal, but we'll get to that because overall I'm excited because this looks really good. But looks can be deceiving, so let's get into this. Okay, I want to talk about the environments in the game. I'm going to show you a picture of the first image on IGN's footage, because that's where I'm getting it from. I might even have to leave a link in the description just to, you know, not get in trouble, but I'm sure they wouldn't do that. Then I'm reminded of the IGN Sucks video I made. Yeah, moving on. So this is a picture of the environments and the health and the fact that it's pre-alpha gameplay. This is the model here. Look at the environments. Like, look at the detail in the environment. I want to kind of play it a little bit just to show you a little bit more in depth. Look, have a good look at it, not just a picture. Like, look at that. Let me hold myself first. Look how smooth that is. That looks good. And here's another thing. That looks cool. That looks really cool. Okay. That looks really cool. So she can use her whip to, you know, people kind of figured that she could do that. I think everybody kind of figured that she could do that. It looks good. Like, the environments look great. Her hair, a lot of people complain that her hair is fake because it's like waving around. I think that gives her character. I think that gives her a little bit of a flair, you know. I think that is a good idea with the hair thing. That looks really good. So far as I was watching this gameplay reveal, I noticed that they did not change the armor. And we'll get to her armor in a little bit and a little bit more of her model, but I want to focus a little bit more on my topics. So yeah, I already talked about the graphics look incredible, and this is pre-alpha footage. Like, this drives me nuts. We got games like Spider-Man who show us gameplay / cinematics, but yet you can't even show us a goddamn, like, at least 5 minute or 3 minute or a trailer gameplay. Like, just nothing. Like, that irritates me, and that's why this is really looking good for me with Darksiders 3 right now. And the game isn't even coming out till next year, but yet it looks already fantastic. And that just tells you a lot about companies and wanting to keep things a secret all the time, like Insomniac. Insomniac needs to get their shit together. But I am looking forward to that game, and I will be playing that game for you guys. So the gameplay, you saw a little bit of her running mechanic. It looks really good. It looks standard is the best way to say it. Kind of like Wars. Wars was kind of standard. Deaths was kind of, it was different is the best word to say. Let's see what else. So yeah, I talked about the traversal thing, or character model. That literally is what's next, huh? Okay, give me a second. I gotta set it up. So that looks really good. So she just kind of grabbed and then did a flip. That looked pretty cool. Okay, so here, this is actually where one of the pictures was. This is Black Hammer for us Darksiders fans. We know him. So she does say something there, but I'm gonna have to go back and see it again. So we're gonna take a look at our character model. So this is our character model, and I get myself out of the way. That looks pretty good. Like, her character model? Like, look at her character model. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. Look at that. Okay, I don't want to show too much footage because I don't want to get copyrighted, but I will leave that link in the description to IGN again, so they know that I did not just take it, because I'm just showing you some clips. I'm not going to show you because she's already fighting. I mean, actually, no, I will. God, I will, because I wanna show you and explain to you more about why I'm so excited for this game and why it's looking so good. Okay, so I talked about her character model. I talked about some returning allies. There also will be returning enemies, which I will show you in a little bit. One thing I noticed, I guess I can talk about this now because before I jump straight into more footage that is not mine, but I'm gonna get it for that. I hope I don't, because I'm trying to be reasonable here and just make it more talk about it than show you full footage of the thing. I'm just trying to show you clips, not too much, not too little either. We did not see the horse, but because I was wondering, I was like, where's the horse? I thought we were gonna ride. We didn't ride yet, so maybe they don't got the horse ready yet. Which is fine. Just make sure that the horse is ready, you know. Have more sections of horse. Try to put as much of the horse in as you can. I mean, Darksiders 2 kind of did that, but the problem is you would get stuck inside of buildings that you would just kind of forget about your horse, and you'd be more focused on the puzzles and stuff in the game than rather riding the horse and, you know, doing cool shit like that. I mean, you have sections in the game like that, but I feel like there needed to be more. But we did get more from the first one, but the first one did a balance of it, which was different, which is why it worked. But yeah, that's just my little 2 cents on that. Make sure we guys, dude, share this video with them. Share this video. Let them know, hey, this is what we want. We want more horse gameplay. We'll get to more of what we want soon, but we want more horse gameplay. That is something I want. I want to ride the horse more. That's something, because you're called a horseman, or in this case, a horsewoman. You gotta ride your horse, you know. That's the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some of the combat and some of the enemies types in this game. Okay, so one thing I noticed about her combat and her targeting system is it's really good. It reminds me of Death's, but I feel like her dodging is a little too, like, she doesn't have enough dodging. like she does, she does like that, just that one flip, but it doesn't really cover a lot of distance. So try to give her more distance. If you notice real quick, those enemies, those enemies are familiar from the first game. And some of them are new, but some of them are really familiar too. As you noticed, Fury is not very tall. She's actually kind of small, because if you remember, War was a lot taller, and Death was a lot taller too. So they were kind of the same size, or small, like the same size or bigger than those type of enemies. Okay, so that was a little bit of the combat. And a little bit of the enemy types that we will be fighting. I will show you more enemy types, but there's the next clip is about traversal. So apparently you can now crawl in these vents, and it reminds me of like when I was Batman in the Arkham games. So it's a cool and different. It's a new way of traversal. Hopefully it's not too. I hope we get this freedom of exploration, like the ability to go to, like, maybe to get to where we go, we gotta climb this building, and maybe we could use our whip to climb up it, or we could just go inside. If it was a building, go inside the building, just fight all the enemies and get to the top. That's like, have multiple ways for us to deal with and to move around the world. Kind of like what Prey's doing, but Prey, I feel like, didn't really, like, I don't know, Prey, I feel like didn't handle that one right, as far as like trying to find your own path and stuff, make your own path, because I don't know, for me it didn't work, but I think for this game it could work. But I'm gonna show you some of the vent gameplay now. Okay, so she crouches inside. And then look, she's crouching in there. So I can't believe she can fit in there. That's a big ass vent. But yeah, you can see her hair. Her hair model looks great. I like the fact that, you know, she climbs, she crawls in the vent, you know, like pretty coolly. It's not, you know, it's not too awkward with the camera the way it is. So that's good. That's good. What else do we got to talk about? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention as far as the horse and what I want. One of the other things I wanted from Darksiders with the Four Horsemen was I wanted a more deeper connection with my horse. I wanted to feel like the characters were made for each other. Like those two are sync with each other. You know what I mean? We got that a lot with War, but not a lot with Death. It feels like with Death, they just kind of just said, here's your horse. It doesn't matter what the what relationship they have. They just kind of are with each other. That's dumb. I want maybe she talks to her horse, or maybe she can communicate with her horse, or maybe her horse has a personality when it comes to, you know, listening or not listening, and something like that. Try to make it a little bit more interesting that way. That way it's not too like, oh, here's your horse, just ride, you know. Make it a little bit more interesting. Make it interesting. That's the best way I can say it. Okay, so I will not be showing no more footage because I don't want to get copyrighted, and because of the fact that I'm basically done showing footage. I don't really have anything else to really show except to talk about. Oh god, I got scared of, I thought that was a bug. God damn it. Embarrassing myself on camera. Damn it. Oh god. Ignore that. Sorry. I'm just too excited. That's the thing. I'm too excited. I'm too excited. Okay, so this is when I do get kind of into the, where is it? Is it not done yet? Is it going to be in the game? This is when we get into the bad stage, or the worried stage, I should say. So, as I watched the gameplay, I noticed that there was no finishers. Like like in the first game, when you fight an enemy in the very first game, Darksiders 1, you could attack an enemy to a certain point, and then a prompt would show up above them, and you press circle, and then you cut him up, and then he'd be dead, right? And it looked amazing, right? With number 2, it feels like with number 2 they took that away from you, but they did feature Death becoming like his Reaper form, and then killing a big boss. Now we get to that. Does she have another form? Does she have an ultimate form? Because with the other ones, we had War, who was a big, almost dragon, demon-looking thing. And then with Death, it was, big Reaper. What's hers gonna be? Is she going to have one? I mean, it's kind of tricky, because it's like, what would you give her? Well, I would give her maybe what would be cool for an example. I'll use it as an example. Maybe it's kind of weird, because it's like she's not Johnny Storm, so she's not, flamethrower or whatever, but maybe she turns on fire or something, like, it's got to be something that expresses fury, and I guess fire is a way of expressing it, but I don't know. I mean, you could do fire, but I don't know. I hope they do an ultimate form, though, because one thing I didn't like about the second game is, well, no. I mean, you could fight. I mean, I felt like I was more War as like a chaos form than I was Death. So I guess I want to turn into my chaos form more in this game, not just because, as you notice in the gameplay, her gameplay is kind of stiff. Like she hits them, and then she'll do a couple whips, and that's it. I mean, she barely gets stun damage on them. And I remember when we would play in number 1, number 2, when you hit the enemy with your sword or with your scythes or whatever, they would be hurt, like severely hurt. They would stand there for like a brief second being like, what just hit me? Like, and they'll be completely stunned, and that would leave you open to do a finisher, but for some reason in the second game you barely could do finishers, which was dumb. They needed more finishers in the second game, which I hope they bring back in the first game. So that was like, I was like, where's the finishers? I was like, where's the horse? I was like, where's the chaos form or Reaper form or ultimate form? Where's that? So that got me worried. And as I was watching the game, I was thinking to myself, is this Dark Souls type gameplay? Because the way the gameplay is she looks weak. Like, her character, like, as she's fighting, looks weak. I mean, she does kill them, and I can understand why they are evaporating or whatever, because, Darksiders logic. But that's kind of stupid. I hope what they do is they add finishers so that her gameplay looks better, so that when she, like, what we saw in the reveal trailer, in the cinematic trailer, where she takes her whip and she just wraps it around that one demon's arm and just makes him cut his own head off. That was an interesting and very cool kill, and that would be an awesome finisher to do on your enemies. To be like, here, take this, bitch. Here's how it feels. Like, that's cool. Like, that makes you feel powerful. I don't want the sense of power being taken away from me, because with Dark Souls, you don't really have a sense of power. You have more of a sense of survival than more of a sense of, And I don't play Dark Souls, so I don't really know what the feel of it really is. But I've seen people play it, and I can tell that it's very hard. And I hope Darksiders doesn't do something like that. I really hope they stick to traditional number 1. Not really number 2, mostly number 1. I want number 1 roots. I don't want number 2s with the RPG elements where you have to put on a bunch of new armor. Her armor looks amazing. She doesn't need different looks of armor, and her armor looks right. You don't need to change that. Keep her armor like that. Don't change it. Let us upgrade our whip. Let us maybe upgrade our horse. Like I said, we want more horse elements. Put more horse stuff in. Make the horse upgradable. Maybe make sections where you need the horse to be a certain level. And that's kind of stretching it, but in Black Flag for Assassin's Creed, that didn't really bother people unless they were dying forever and they blew up and ranted and broke their controller. But I mean, like, make it so that it's interesting. It feels, you feel powerful. That's another thing about Darksiders, is when I'm playing Darksiders, I feel like a powerful horseman. I feel like I'm someone who should not be fucked with. Like, that's what has always been the best part about war. Even Death in number 2. Even when I was playing as Death, and I do talk a little bit of crap about that game, and a lot of people criticize that game for not being as good as the first one. But I still feel powerful. It's the feeling of feeling powerful, and she can feel powerful. Make her more agile than Death. Like as you can see, she dodges. That's cool, but you got to make it so that she dodges better. Maybe let her vault over the enemy, which can be kind of cheating because, as we've seen in a few games, like Batman, for example, you can vault over your enemy and your enemy can't even hit you. So yeah, there's that, but I think because she's so agile, she needs to be able to do that. She needs to be more agile than him, and she needs to have more creative finishers if there are any, and there should be. So that's basically all I have to say about the game, and that's my little breakdown of this game. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This was very different from my other videos, so maybe if this does well, I can do stuff like this in the future. But I'm so excited for this game. This game looks better each time. I love the fact that when Injustice 2's DLC came out, they were like, fuck you, Injustice, and brought out a gameplay for this, and I was like, oh my god, these guys are not playing, like, they're being 100% serious and committed, and I hope that they watch this, a little bit of it, and just get the main points, get the main things of what we want. We want creative finishers, we want more horse gameplay, maybe even horse upgrades, and we want the ability to, we don't want RPG elements where, when I mean RPG elements, I mean like different looks of your whip or different looks of your armor. I don't want that because I feel like that can be over-sexualized, and her armor looks good as is. Like, that looks damn near perfect. It reminds me of War's armor. It looks really, really good, and that's why I don't want them to change it. I like the fact that as I'm looking up in the corner, you know, the health looks the same. Like, that doesn't look too different. So that's good. But I hope, because I'm scared, because there's no chaos symbol, nothing. Like I said, they're probably still working on it, but hopefully they add that. I don't know what it's going to be. I hope it's kind of something like a fiery thing or something relating to Fury. Maybe they'll be better at it than me. I don't know. All I can think of is fire for some reason, which War kind of was actually in that form, but he was also like a big animal thing, so that was that too, or demon, I don't know. So that's it. That's basically it. I would show gameplay of the boss fight at the end with the Lord of the Flies, but you guys gotta watch that for yourself because it's really cool. But like I said, but talking about the Dark Souls feeling, it feels like when you're doing, like, because Dark Souls, you fight like big enemies and you feel almost powerless. When I'm seeing her fight, or combat, it just feels stiff. she's hitting this guy and she has to like fall back. It kind of reminds me of Dark Souls. You gotta get them, then fall back. Get them, then fall back. I hope that's not with every enemy. I hope with the enemies they change. But you gotta watch it for yourself and see what you think. Let me even watch it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoy breakdowns, I might do breakdowns more. But I don't know about footage, because footage that was I just had to. I was so excited I had to. But like I said, thank you for watching, and I'm out of here. Up and away. See you guys.